everybody, Jeff King here, coming to you with another initial impressions video. This time for a game that is going to be on Kickstarter in the near future, Biergarten from Steamboat Gothic Games. Biergarten basically, let's see, 2 to 4 players, says it plays in about 20 minutes. If you're on the 2-player end of that, it plays a lot quicker than that. And the basic idea is that you own a restaurant and you're trying to expand your patio area, so you're trying to expand your beer garden and kind of attract as many people as possible and score the most points that way. In the game, you get something like, I believe this is like 44 cards in this common deck that everybody gets or everybody draws from. These other guys here are like your home cards, so these are your starting patio areas, so there's 6 of those. There's a scoreboard, some tracker tokens for the different players to track their score, and the rules and everything you need kind of come on these 4 cards. So there's a card with visuals on the back, a card for turn order, a card for setup, a card that goes into scoring a bit, and the basics, which kind of tells you the components and some and just general information you might want to know right up front before you get started. Alright, so what happens in the game? So there'll be 3 cards that you can see from the common deck, and on your turn you draw a card, so you can either take one of the cards that is part of the common deck that's visible if it can help you, or you draw the top one from the common deck. If you take a card that's face up, you replenish it right away. Then you play a card. So you got your starting guy out in front of you. You'll start building off of that with one of the cards you have in your hand. You can't go diagonal, so you can't basically have a guy off by himself. You have to do adjacency to another card that you've already got played. You don't necessarily have to play something that's going to score you points right away. So some of these cards have walls on them, and if you back up a wall to a score point, then you just kind of blocked off that score point, and that's fine. It's acceptable. This isn't one of those games where you can't, all walls have to be touching all walls, all open spaces can't dead end, that kind of thing. It's really up to how you're going to score it. All right, so you do that. Then you have this little optional phase, which is you can either swap 2 cards, and you can't be adjusting them or turning them, rotating them. You just swap 2 cards from their locations, or you do a horizontal or vertical slide. So you're kind of like move 1 card and you adjust for that. So again, if you slide down, then 1 card will kind of come off and go back up to the top. If you've ever played something like Labyrinth from Ravensburger, that kind of deal where you're kind of readjusting where the pathways go and where the treasures are and all that stuff. Same kind of concept. You slide the cards up or down, horizontal or vertically, and then the one that drops off kind of comes back around the other side. You do that if you are trying to adjust into a different scoring position. Once you've decided if you're using that optional take, then you look at your board, you count up all your points, and you adjust your point total on the scoreboard by your total. So if last round I had 2 points, and then this round coming in, I suddenly have 4 points on my board, I'm not at 6. I'm not doing 2 plus 4. I'm at 4 points. So I adjust up to 4 because my board now scores me 4 points. There's some bonus type stuff that you can get, bonus points as well. If you match one of each of the 4 colors, you get a bonus 3 points, stuff like that. And then the end game is triggered by the first person that gets up to the 10-point marker triggers the final round. Everybody else gets to go 1 full turn. And then the person that triggered that does not get to draw a card, does not get to play a card, but can do the optional swap and or move, thing to see if they can get any more points out of their board. And then whoever has the most points wins. All right. Some initial impressions things. Let's see. First thing, this guy here is a little too small, or these guys are a little too big. If this gets knocked or anything, that they just don't fit comfortably. Again, I should point out this is a prototype / review copy. Kickstarter is coming up in either end of July or early August. So final version may look a little bit different. Definitely check out the Kickstarter page to see what they have. In one aspect, it's kind of cool that everything you need to play this game is basically on 4 cards with visuals on the back. When I first opened the game, I was like, oh, they forgot to send me rules. And then I started sorting through the cards and, oh, hey, these guys are here and there's my rules. So that is cool. But at the same time, I would love to see this in a little visual booklet, and a little booklet laid out with the visuals, instead of trying to get everything off of here or make sure you have in the right order, that kind of stuff. Minor stuff, those 2 things are fairly minor, but things I wanted to point out. One thing I think is very cool that they did with this game, there are 4 different colors, so green, yellow, blue, and red. And I noticed right away that they made sure that there was a different pattern for each color. There's a white too, which is a wild, and that's just a blank white. But I thought it was very cool. I noticed that right away. It was kind of nice that they, since this is so color reliant on matching up the colors, that they did the patterns to help with color blindness. I thought that was a very cool thing. It's also language independent once you get past the rules. So there's no reading to the cards or anything like that. It's pretty much color matching and sliding around to reconfigure for the most points. So that is very cool as well. So it is something, as long as you, at your house, I'm not going to tell you, but you're building a beer garden so you can play with the kids. Maybe you tell them it's a soda fountain, I don't know, or just a restaurant patio. But it is something that, younger kids can play because there is no language dependency there. All right, so we only got to play 2-player, so this goes up to 4 players. We played many, many, many games within that 20 minutes. That their 20-minute time frame there. So I'm assuming that's more of the 3 to 4 player game. In a 2-player game, it goes super quick, and in some ways, that's kind of a downfall for us. I got to play this with Megan several times. And we constantly kind of felt like we were just getting ready to get started when the game was over. So it's like, okay, I'm just about at that point where I'm going to start using the swap and all of that stuff. And oh, final round. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to do that because this is pretty much the most points I get. We just didn't feel like we ever got to that point where we had all the cards we needed, or we had enough cards where potentially swapping and all that stuff made a lot of sense. Again, I don't know if that changes in the 3 to 4 player. I can just kind of tell you from the 2-player aspect that even for Megan, who is she shared kind of what she thought of this game. She wasn't able to kind of sit down on the video. Megan is a casual player. She loves card games, and she loves her games to be quick. Usually, if you have those 3 things, she's going to be pretty happy with the game. This one, it kind of hit that neutral ground for her. It was very much, oh, that's it kind of thing. Oh, we're done. It played too quick. We didn't feel like we kind of got into any sort of almost potential for meaningful decisions, and it just played quick. And okay, let's play again. No, still very quick. All right, let's play again. No, still, we just never hit that spot where we felt like, okay, this is a game. Again, speaking from the 2-player perspective. I can't speak for the 3 to 4 player. So in that aspect, this is a very casual, very light game. They even talk about on the back of the box, kind of sitting around playing, playing with your friends, having a beer, that kind of thing. And so I can see this from the very, very casual, very social atmosphere. Like, if you don't care about the game that's on the table, or basically that the game's being played, and you're more focused in on having the social aspect around, I can see that. A hardcore game night, I don't ever see this hitting the table. Not even as a filler for end of the night or potentially waiting for other people. Even if you're not really sure, like, okay, these guys could show up any second, this is a very quick game. But again, it just stops for us right before it gets interesting. I guess is the best way for me to say that. So I don't see that happening with a hardcore game night. Again, if you're a casual, family-friendly kind of family, younger kids, again, except for the beer garden part, but that's totally up to you. Other than that environment, I don't see this getting played very often, at least not around here. So there you go. Again, the Kickstarter is coming out either end of July or early August. As soon as I have the actual date and the link, I will throw that up right here. If this sounds like something that you might be interested in, maybe you are looking for a very quick, very casual game, definitely go check out the Kickstarter link and see for yourself what you think of Biergarten. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. I'll be back probably sometime after Gen Con. I don't think I tried not to schedule too much before Gen Con since that's coming up. So sometime after Gen Con, I will start creating some more videos. I think this is my last one before Gen Con comes up. So see you after Gen Con.